Hello, everybody. How you doing? Dave Fennoy here, and welcome to another Ask Dave Fennoy Anything on this November 6th, Wednesday, November 6th, 2019. Where did 2019 go? We are rapidly getting to the end of the year. It seemed like it was New Year's, and now suddenly we're looking at Thanksgiving, then Christmas, and then whoo-hoo, Happy New Year, and it's 2020, and where will we be then? Which leads me to one of the questions I think we all need to be asking ourselves right about now. If we haven't already, we need to start planning. What are we going to do in 2020? How would you like to see your career progress in 2020? And you can jot some ideas down, but of course, love to get some questions from you about what's going on in your career and how I might be able to help you do something a little different to help you do a little better than you're doing. Whether we're talking about voiceover itself, we're talking about trying to get an agent or clients or keeping up with things. One of the things I have never thought of myself as a particularly organized person. There are people telling me, "Oh man, you're so organized," and I think the little bit of organization I do have is because I realized how unorganized I actually am. But I'm the guy I like working with wood and things like that. But I do a project and I put the tools down, and that's where they are when the project is finished. Those kinds of things. And I have had to learn the things that I really need to get done, like taking care of auditions and whatnot. I've had to develop some systems for myself. And I'm just going to share a couple of those things. They're not earth-shattering. They're not hard. I bet you're already doing it. And if you have some ideas that might help your fellow voiceover actors, and maybe even me, feel free to jot them down in the notes. And before I jump into that, let me say, hey, Patricia, Tara, Brian, Michael Glover, what's going on? Rhonda D, Jace Jordan, Elliot, A. Randolph, Mark Darren. By the way, Tara, you spoke so highly of the demo I produced for you. I'm not going to ask you today, but Michael Glover, you just got one from me. Make a few notes. What did you think of the process? Anyway. I get a lot of auditions, like a lot of people who have been in the business for a while. There was a time when I decided that, I need to get some agents in different places on the planet, in different places in the United States. And I did that. And it's a plus because whatever area you're living in some other areas, there are large stores, chain stores that are only in that area, car dealerships that are only in that area, restaurants that may only be in that area, that you're not going to see the auditions for unless you have a presence in that particular area. Now, what you do run into are two problems. So one, it's going to bring in more auditions. Yay! But you're also going to get some repeat auditions. You're going to get duplicate auditions from various agents. So one, talk about how I handle the duplicates. First of all, if I get on a day duplicates from several agents, I always go with my local agent as the first one I'm going to go to. Now, if it happens to be that my local agent sends it to me the next day, I probably would have done it already. And there have been times they said, "Oh, well, would you call us and let us know that you got that?" And which I do sometimes, but I don't always have time. Also, how do you keep up with when you've got a bunch of auditions? Do you prioritize your auditions? I kind of prioritize mine. I'm not going to chase $300 like I'm going to chase $3,000. So if we're talking about an audition for something, it's going to be a one-time deal. It's a small little thing someplace. Despite the fact that I might like the copy and enjoy doing it, I'm going to prioritize, well, what's the thing that is going to pay off the most dividends, perhaps be repeat business. Those are the things I'm going to audition first and then go down the line. So there's how much money it's making, where's it going to be playing, a little bit of how interested I am in it, and will it be repeat business? Those things come to mind. And when is it due? Because we live in a world now with the internet, I don't know about you, but I can get an audition at 11 o'clock in the morning that wants it by noon. And I have said before that I think our real jobs are auditioning, because when we get the job, it's just wonderful. It's just fun. I just enjoy it. So sometimes that fun I'm having working will knock me out of the audition process because they want those auditions back so quickly. Word to the wise, when that happens to you and it's something that you really are right for and you really want to do, if you're on a gig or something and on your break you check your email on your phone like I do, or check your text messages, and you see something from your agent like that, give them a call or a text back and ask and let them know, hey, I'm on this gig. I'm going to be available to do this at such and such a time. Would it be worth it? Would you still be able to accept it? We have deadlines, but sometimes deadlines can be stretched. All right, let me look at some of the stuff over here. I'm trying to get my first VO agent now. Okay, let's see. I'm going to jot that down. VO agent. Get. And I'll come back to that. Hey, Andre. Always love your smile, man. Mukti, how you doing? Tommy Graffman. But once again, I'm selling my boy, Tommy. Mac My Day. If something's wrong with your Mac, you need Tommy Graffman. Sarah Langella, hey, I'm obsessed with my demo you produced for me, and I have booked jobs directly from it. Love it because it truly represents my voice print. Yay, thank you. My belief about demos, the only ones I'm producing now are for video game. The video game industry has changed quite a bit, even over the last 5 or 6 years. If you can think of a movie genre that's out there, there's a video game genre that's happening. We even have romantic comedy video games these days. So you're not going to get away with a demo. It's not going to serve you to have a demo that just represents what used to be in video games. You have to look at what is now and where the industry is going. And that is the same places feature films are going. Of course, you want to have something on there that pays tribute to the superhero genre. Of course, you're going to have something on there that pays tribute to sword and sorcery. Of course, you're going to have something on there that pays tribute to, the wars, battle games. But we have doctors, lawyers, nurses, school teachers, mechanics, regular people put in extraordinary circumstances. We have many of those kinds of games now. So you want to broaden out what it is you're going to be doing. And for me, I think the most important thing is to find out who you are as an actor. What do people feel like when they hear your voice? What are the areas that you can really play well, that you really touch people, their minds and hearts? You just definitely want to have your demo going in that direction. Your voice, the person you are, how you make people feel. That is what should be the hero of your demo, not the effects, not the music. Yeah, you want that there, but you don't want anything to outshine your performances. All right. Couple of things on getting an agent. One, be patient, be persistent, and make sure your demo is really, really good. There are times when I'm doing a workshop, I will play some demos of some people who are working all the time that may not be the best demos. If they were starting out, those demos wouldn't help them that much. And the reason they're working is because they audition well, they're a known quantity. If you're just starting out, your demo needs to be superlative. It needs to be great. There are a lot of people knocking on the voiceover doors. You have to have something special. And I'll revert back to what I was saying before. The thing that is special is you. We can learn a lot like a musician learns from copying the licks of their favorite artist, but sooner or later you have to make them yours. So make sure that your demo represents who you really are, and that whatever it is you're doing on that demo, you can do live. Tara on demos. I actually wanted to ask your thoughts regarding creature demo reels. I think that's valid if you can do them. I don't think it's necessary to do, but if you have a bunch of great creature voices in you, yeah, I would do a short creature demo reel for you. I'm not saying I would do it for you. I'm saying that you could do one. I'd be happy to do it for you, but that's not what I'm trying to say. Am I? Do I know what I'm saying? I don't know. Hey, Pamela, how you doing? Andrea, John Groves, congratulations, man. I hope you go home with a trophy. Pamela, how you doing? Randy Morrison, had a nice talk with you today. Do you think voiceover.com is a good start with no experience? I am very anti voiceover.com. The pay-to-play sites are a feature of the landscape of voiceover right now. I'm not a fan of them in general, although, you're going to have to deal with them probably if you're just getting started. I'm not a fan in general, and I'm really not a fan of voiceover.com. They are doing things that are right on the edge of illegal. The kinds of things you see, well, first of all, you're paying them, and so you're paying about $400 a year if you're just regular. You can bump up supposedly how often and how soon you get auditions if you pay them $2,500 a year, and you can bump that up to $5,000 a year. And for that, supposedly, the auditions get to you first and go to the top of the pile for the clients to listen to. They also have a service for clients where they will handle all the booking, everything, and playing the part of agent. However, they're doing the exact opposite of what an agent does. An agent tries to get you as much money as they can because that agent is going to only get 10% of what you bring in. Voices.com is particularly greedy. A client may come to them and say, I've got $5,000 to pay for this voiceover. Let us handle it for you. And then they put it out to bid. They don't say, I've got this job and it's $5,000. And people bid on that job, and maybe you bid $1,000 and you win the gig. They don't return the other $4,000 to the client. They pocket it. You don't see it. Plus, you're going to pay 20% for them to handle the $1,000. So the $5,000 gig, now you're getting $800 for because they took the other $4,000 that might have gone to you and 20% of your $1,000, plus you paid them to get the audition. I'm not a fan. I'm not sure there are real ways around them right now, especially if you don't have time to seek your own clients out. But you need to know what you're getting into, and you need to know how to work them. All right. Nadia, hey, how you doing? Andre, what do you think about Fiverr? Everybody's got to start someplace. I'm not that concerned with Fiverr. I think a lot of the people that start on Fiverr, if they're any good, they're not going to be there very long, and they're going to start moving into other areas. I have talked with producers who have said things like, we use Fiverr all the time to get a sample read, but we never really hire those people. So it can leave you with a little taint from time to time. But everybody needs to start somewhere. And there are some people who aren't in the union, ain't never going to be in the union, and clients that really aren't that concerned with quality. Maybe they weren't going to pay that much anyway. I don't think Fiverr in and of itself is really hurting our industry. I think the pay-to-play sites are much more damaging to us. Thanks for the great breakdown to pay and play websites. You are very welcome. Okay, hang on. A couple things. Getting that agent. I told you about having your demo be very, very good. But you also have to be patient and persistent. Agents are very, very busy typically. And when you send that demo, doesn't mean they're going to listen to it right away. If you know somebody that is represented by the agent you want to get with, or you can get somebody to write you a little note suggesting that they actually do listen, that's a plus for you. Is it a guarantee? No. I have written some notes, introduced some people to my agents. Sometimes they take them, sometimes they don't. It's not always because you aren't ready. Sometimes it's because sometimes it's and of course my agent is calling me right now. I love that. Can you hang on for just a moment? You're going to hear a little of this. Hello. What's up, man? Booked Monday 2 to 4. Excellent. Thanks, Amit. Talk to you. Bye-bye. And that's just how it happens. I had a feeling that was coming. Anyway, where was I? We were talking about getting an agent. Sometimes you need to get back to them and back to them and back to them. My first agent, I sent her the demo, which was very bad. It was 5 minutes long. It had a bunch of retail mess on it. And it was 3 or 4 months before she finally responded. I got a meeting, went in, and she said, "Oh, yeah, you're very talented, but your demo sucks. Redo it and come back and see me in 6 months." So we're talking close to a year that she was looking for me to keep knocking on these doors. And I think especially with her, Joan Spangler, by the way, is her name. She's up in San Francisco. I think she's still being an agent up there. I think part of why she did that to me, she wanted to see how serious I really was. So don't allow yourself, if this is really for you, don't allow yourself to be frustrated and give up. If you really do have what it takes, and I think you'll know, be persistent and things will come around. Keep in touch. If you get well, they're probably not going to give you a call. It's probably going to be an email. If you get an email from an agent that says, "Well, thanks, but no thanks. We have somebody fitting your category right now. We enjoyed your tape. We talked about it, but we're going to pass right now. We wish the best of luck to you." Sounds like I've gotten one of those letters from time to time, doesn't it? No, I know what those letters say. Keep that person's email address, and from time to time, get back in touch with them. Thank them for considering you, and keep track of the new things that you're doing. And from time to time, you've booked something, send them a note. "Hey, I'm so-and-so. Remember I sent you my demo, and I'm still looking for an agent. And if you have a spot on your roster, just want to remind you I'm still here. And recently I did such and such." You don't want to make it long. You don't want to write a long letter. They don't have time to read it. Sometimes people wanting to work with me as a coach will write me these long letters, and it's like, I want to help you, I want to communicate, but I don't want to read 2 pages of your life story. Better we can have a chit chat about that than I have to read it all and remember all this and that and when you get down to and I want to take workshops with you sometime within the next 2 or 3 years. Anyway, let's see, Rhonda. So get in your coaching classes and have an awesome demo produced. Correct. And when I say get in your coaching classes, I don't just mean me. There's some awesome other coaches out there. I always suggest to people that are working with me, work with some other people as well. I work in a number of different genres, but, there's some other people to go to for promos. There's some other people to go to for narration. There are people who specialize in how to get work. There's a lot of really good people out there in this business that are covering a wide range of areas in the voiceover business. Speaking of which, that reminds me, that's voiceover and the Voice Arts Awards coming up next weekend. I'm sure there are still tickets available. And if you don't go to Voice Arts Awards, try That's Voiceover. Just give it a shot. Just spend the money, give it a shot, see how you like it. All right. Michael Scott, Dave booking jobs while teaching the people. Yeah, I know. That's a little silly. DK Voices, excellent word, Dave. Okay. More questions here. More questions. I did have a couple other things that I wanted to talk about. I was talking with a student today, and he's a person who's had a voiceover career for a long time and a radio career for a long time. And he's got that radio thing, and he's got that thing, and his voice is deep and gravelly, and he sounds like this all the time. And it's not booking for him like it used to be. Reminds me of me when I first started doing voiceover in Los Angeles. I had just come out of radio, and there was a whole lot of that in me. And it took a while to get that out. I mean, your voice print is your voice print, but you have a choice of where you place your voice. Do you just want to have that thing? And how is your word attack? Are you going to make sure that every word is heard? Nobody believes that guy anymore. There's still some bookings for it, but they're getting fewer and fewer and fewer. And this guy, he's a talented guy, but it's really hard for him to let that go. And I know there are a number of people there who've come out of radio or maybe their voiceover career was that big voice guy for a while, or big voice woman. Do we have those? And what I've discovered, it's sometimes really harder to fix bad habits. Or maybe it's not so much that the habits are bad, but society has moved on to something else. We'll call them bad habits for lack of a better term. It's harder sometimes to fix those bad habits than just learn from scratch. Some people who have been at it for a long, long time, what has happened is you get in your mind what sounds right and what feels right. This feels right in my mouth. This sounds right in my ears. But to the people out there, to the people who are hiring, it doesn't sound right. I had a friend of mine who's a casting director. We're sitting having a chat, and she says, "Oh, yes, as soon as we hear that big, deep voice, we move on to the next one." I was like, what? So keep that in mind. If you've been at this for a while and you had a really good career and you were booking a lot, and this really applies more to the men than the women, you got to change some of your habits. You've got to find other places in your mouth to let your voice come from. You've got to explore your higher range. You've got to explore not enunciating quite so clearly. You've got to explore not being perfect in your speech, being a real human being, and not listening to yourself to see how beautiful you sound. But try to find how you can touch people here and here. Let's see. Got any other questions here? DK Voice is thinking, when will the results of Mandy.com competition be released, or have they already been notified? I just discovered that Mandy.com has a voiceover competition today. I was scrolling through Facebook while I was wasting some time, and somebody had mentioned that they had been nominated and they were hoping they won. They'd been nominated in the video game category. And I said, wow, when did Mandy start having... So I don't know. I will find out if you are somebody that has been nominated for a Mandy Network award. I wish you well. Good luck. I have to explore that. Michael Glover, the VO demo process working with work and being directed by Dave Fennoy. After I got over being starstruck working with the great Dave, I tell sometimes fans, it's nice to have people really think of you as a celebrity and all that kind of thing. But I really am just a regular guy with a really cool job. And every other celebrity out there, I know how you feel. There are people, if I run into Denzel, I'll say hello and I'll be as regular as I can, but there's a certain part of me like, oh man, you were Malcolm X, man. But word to the wise, people want to be recognized. They like that you appreciate their work, but they also want to be treated as human beings. At least I do. So get over that quickly and, we can be friends. But after I got over being starstruck working with the great Dave Fennoy, we get down to business. If you're thinking about making a video game demo, I highly recommend working with Dave. The whole process was very comfortable. I was ready to go balls out, but Dave smartly slowed me down, helped me see my bad habits and helped me work through them. Dave's a very busy guy, and I love the pace he worked with me. I have a lot more to say about working with Dave. Feel free to contact me. Loved my demo. And so did my agent. And the best part, I feel Dave and I are friends with a love of the same craft. One of the best VO experiences so far. Thank you, Dave. If you would like for me to do a recorded VO testimony, call my agent. Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate that, man. I really do. Anyway, oh yes, people are sending me information on the Mandy Network jobs for actors. Well, Mandy... I've sent people to Mandy looking for jobs. When you're trying to build your own client list, Mandy is all things video and television and commercial. And a lot of times they're looking for narrators or people for commercials or actors or cameramen, whatever. But there's a voiceover category. And it's a place that, especially if you're just getting started, you can find work and places to audition. And it's also, they're not charging any money. And it's a place where often you're finding clients who are going to book you again and again and again. And let me tell you a little secret. It's wonderful to have those one-off jobs, especially when they pay well. But when you build a career, what you're really looking for is repeat business. Repeat business is the lifeblood of this business. So take those one-off jobs, no doubt. But if you can be the voice of a particular client or several particular clients for their commercials or their television station, or that's where the money is, or you're narrating the same show, that's where a career is really built. You're in a cartoon that's going over and over and over, a video game that they keep bringing you back as they update the game. That's where a career is built. Any advice on finding your enunciation comfort level after conflicting advice from different coaches? You know what I do? I would turn on my recorder on my telephone when you're sitting around doing a variety of different things. You're hanging with your family. Turn on your voice recorder. See what you sound like when you're just talking to your family. When you're making business calls or something, you're in the office, turn on that voice recorder and see what you sound like when you're talking to somebody about business. I think what you're going to find is in both those situations, also when you're just hanging with your boys, maybe you had a couple of brewskis or something, see what you sound like then. And the reason I say this is because what we're all looking for these days, when I say we are all looking for, the industry is looking for, is a very natural, real sound. And who you are is who you want to show off yourself to be when you're recording. Sometimes, you might be playing a character that's really not you, but that character still has to sound real and natural. Last night, I was doing a free workshop at SAG-AFTRA, Don LaFontaine's studio. They want me back in January with 12 students, and I went through some of the set up my theory on voiceover work for video games, and then put them in the studio as quickly as we could. And the thing that I notice that I hear all the time is people don't trust that they can just communicate, that they're taking somebody else's words and they don't feel like they can just say them. They want to make the words do a dance. They want to make the words very precious. And the words aren't precious. I've been known to say the words. I want to know about the character. What is the character thinking, feeling, doing? What's the relationship with the person they're talking to? That's what I'm interested in. Most people speaking, their enunciation is clear enough without doing anything to their voice. And more often than not, when you've done that audition and gosh, I feel like I understand what's going on. It just doesn't quite sound as natural as I want it to sound. More often than not, your word attack is too crisp. You're too busy trying to make sure that everybody hears every word that you're saying, and it takes away from that natural, normal speech that you have, just like I just did. So you want to learn to not read the individual words. You want to read the phrases, and you want to make it as conversational, and generally don't use that word because everybody does, and most people don't really understand what they're talking about. But they're talking about you speaking the way you ordinarily speak. Or if the speech of the character you're playing is different, it's still a normal speech pattern as opposed to making sure every word is heard. If you're playing somebody that's not particularly intelligent, that doesn't speak well, then you have to soften that even more. Perhaps if you're playing someone who's very educated and wants everyone to understand how wonderful they are, then maybe you're upping your game. But usually that's not even more enunciation. It's more attitude in that character. All right, Evan Ball, what's going on, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Can't hang out, but you're legendary. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Michael Glover, if you have an idea for somebody you want to do a VO for, can you record and produce something and have your agent contact them with your idea? I'm not going to say it's a bad idea. There was a point in my life I was trying to be a little bit voiceover guy, a little bit producer of commercials. And often the advertising agencies, you have a great idea for a commercial. And you write it out and, maybe voice it, whatever, and you send it to the advertising agency. Very often, they're not even going to listen. And why? Because they've got a lawyer someplace that said, well, if you listen to that, and at some point in the future, somebody else comes up with something similar, now we got a lawsuit on our hands. So that one's a little difficult. The intellectual property of what that commercial is can be sticky, trying to get that across if you're not employed by them. Now, sending them your demo, super. Getting them the idea that, hey, this is a voice, this is a persona that will represent your company, different thing. But I think you'll be disappointed sending them ideas because if they love them, chances are, and they're not, thinking about the legality of it, they might steal it from you and give you no credit, and you have no recourse. And if not, they're probably not going to listen or watch for fear of that, of your, saying, hey, that was my idea. How come you guys are doing that? I'll call my lawyer. Andre, is voice acting a good career? No, it's a great career. It's a wonderful career. If somebody had told me when I was 20 that I would make my living, doing this, I would have thought, well, really? Come on. No, I'm a musician, man. A little bit of an actor, but I'm a musician. You don't know where life is going to take you. But show up with enthusiasm and give it your best. So, what's the older? Voiceover been very, very good to me, man. Okay. Are we running out of questions here? I had a couple more things to talk about. I'm going to remind you again about That's Voiceover and Sova's next week. Oh, one more. Back to fixing those bad habits. It's so tough when your ears are telling you sound great and it feels good in your embouchure there. But sometimes you just have to close your eyes and step off into the darkness and trust that you're going to find another way that's going to work for you. How you speak isn't you. You can adjust some of it. You don't have to stick with this thing if this is what you've been doing all your life. And you don't have to throw it away because sometimes it's going to work for you. You might be playing a character in a video game that sounds like this. But you don't want to be that person trying to do commercials. And I know that was a little over the top, but you get the feeling. All right, let's see. I think we're almost done here. Once again, you're interested in private coaching with me, DaveFennoy.com. You can click on the Study Voiceover tab at the top. I'm going to check out some things at MandyNetwork.com. I don't think I have anything going on next Wednesday that would preclude me from being here. If I do, I'll have a little video that says, hey, I'm not going to be here. Something else is going on. But that is the Wednesday before the Voice Arts Awards, and that's voiceover. I know there are going to be a lot of friends of mine in town from all over the world who are voice actors. And if for no other reason, go to That's Voiceover. And if you want as well, the Voice Arts Awards, because you will get to see and meet your voiceover friends. And if you don't have any right now because you're just getting started, you need some. We all need some people who understand what we do. Your mama, your daddy, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, wife, husband may not get it. They may not get it. They patting you on the back and they're listening to you. Oh, you sound great, baby. Oh, it was really good. They may not understand and they may not really know, but your voiceover friends will. And they're going to be people at That's Voiceover from every walk of voiceover life. If you're into audiobooks, they're there. If you're into TV promos, they're there. If you're a gear freak, they're there. Whatever it is you want to do in voiceover, those people will be there. And the people who teach, the people who do, the people who are on the same journey you're on. So I highly recommend it, and I'll be there. And if you see me, don't be shy. Just come up, say hello. Be happy to meet you. And with that, that's going to knock out this episode of Ask Dave Fennoy Anything. And I will see you next week. All the best, and book something.